DNA Elites Tutorials. Welcome. So today on tutorial number 4, we are going to understand how to add to the properties. So this is really important when you are scripting, when you are putting volume to your properties. Basically, everything that's in the properties is what is going to, I would say, control or create the functionality on that object, okay, and especially in the world itself. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and go into the create button here. Click on build worlds. All right, so now we are in world. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in another object here, and we'll place it right here. So let's go up to the tools. Let's go into inventory, and let's go ahead and click on all types. Let's click on a ball. And I'm gonna go ahead and just bring a beach ball in. There we go. Close out here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit focus to get close up to it. Okay, so here we have a beach ball. Let's go ahead and right click on the adjuster here, and let's go into the properties right here, okay? All right, so most important, going from the top to bottom on this, if you want to, zero everything in, say you brought something in and it's not at the right angle or whatever, you can just hit 0 right here. But this right here is the position of where it is in the world. Now, this is the thing. This right here, if you are creating, and I'll just give you an example on the positions. If you're creating a script where you want someone to teleport from one part to another, say it's like walking through a door, okay? This is going to be important because these positions is where your avatar will go through the trigger and then reappear at another destination in the scene. So in the properties, this right here, this position is going to be important for that type of script to build that. Okay, so you're going to need this type of information. So imagine this ball is where I'm going to walk through, and then say over here, I want to teleport over here because say this could have been like a building that I was inside, but then I want to end up over here. I would basically res into another. Okay, so you can see right here, it's 2.7, 35.36, right? Let me go ahead and add in another beach ball right here so you can see that the position will change. Okay, now watch when I drop this in, it should change the numbers at the top. Yep, so there we go. We just changed those pictures. So let me just show you an example. Let's go back over here. So when I click on this ball, you'll see that these numbers change, right? Check this out. Boom, I just clicked on it. Now it's at this position, right? So if I was going to build a script where I teleport from this ball to that ball, I would need this information right here, okay? So when I say add things to your properties, it's actually adding things into the script properties, okay, on that instance, okay? So I'm just giving you an overview and understanding of what you would use the properties for and what you'd be adding in. Okay, so again, going to the motion type right here. Again, we have 3, so static basically means it will not move, the object will stay in place. Dynamic means I can pick it up. So as you can see, these balls are dynamic. And then keyframed is actually when you need to have it do a certain function with a script itself, okay? So think of the dynamic as it doesn't need a script because it's basically an object that's going to move with the basic, the basic properties, like the basic physics properties, like, a ball should bounce, right? You should be able to throw a ball, okay? Keyframe means that you're going to attach a script to it. So imagine having an airplane coming down, landing right here, or a helicopter landing right here, and then taking off. That would be a keyframed action right there. Coming down right here, of course, you can turn this object on for the properties to grab it, or if you want to ride it. And then right here in the audio materials, so say, for instance, this water right here, okay? Now, this is not going to have a water sound unless you put the water script on the actual ground. Okay, so let me go right here. So right here, we're going to click on the ground. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to change the audio of the ground to water. So it looks like you're running through this water, okay? Water shallow. There we go. Okay. So now when we're running through the water, it's going to sound like we are actually running through shallow water. So let me bring this down just a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Okay. Click off that. So we're actually on the land right here. Let's go back to the ball. Okay, so coming down to the impact sounds, you can actually put other sounds in there. So if I connect with this, we can actually put a different sound in there. So when you actually engage into this water, it could actually make a sound. So, but we're just going to leave that empty. Actually, I take it back. We're on the ball right here. So the ball has a sound on it already that's scripted. It says embedded sound. So it's probably going to have like a plastics, like a bouncing sound when you throw the ball, right? Okay, so volume type right here, the sphere. Volume is basically like the actual shape of the, or actually volume is the mass that it has. So if I switch it to mesh, it's going to basically go to the mesh of the ball. If I make it sphere, which it already is, it's going to be a circle. If I make it box, it's going to be a square. Okay, but you're not going to be able to see it unless you turn on the actual physics to it. If you turn on the physics shape, that's the only way you're going to be able to see that. So let's just go ahead and switch it. So we'll go like this here. Let me go and turn it on so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, okay, so physics is on. If I go like this, turn it to box. Let's go F on it. Oh, see how it has a square on it? Well, we're going to go ahead and turn it back to the circle. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn off the physics shape on that. Okay. Has collision. So if I took the collision off, basically I could go through the ball. Okay. Let's turn it back on. Distance. Okay. This is very, very important. This is what's going to eliminate, or it's going to help your draw calls. Okay, so the draw distance is basically how far I can see it. So right now it's set at 100. If I bring this way down, see how it disappears? I basically have to be real close up for it to appear. See that? So keep this in mind because when you're building out scenes where say there's a building, okay, well you're not going to be able to see everything in the building. Why are you going to make it to where the draw distance is at a long distance? I mean, you just make it in the distance where you would be able to have it in your sight. Okay, so this is actually what separates the basic builders to the intermediate to the pros, okay, is understanding draw distance. This will actually help your computer run really smooth, okay, because you got to think your computer is actually, it has to make all these draw calls, okay? So the less that it has to process, the better it's going to run, okay? So just keep this in mind. So what I like to do, I like to keep my terrain at a high draw distance because I want everybody to see the distance of it, right? Now, if I have a house and I have stuff in it, like I said before, all the items in the house, I would just make it at the distance I would be to see it in the house. I wouldn't make it at, like 100,000 draw distance. Okay, it wouldn't make sense. Okay, uh, and then that is pretty much it in the properties. Okay, now I'll move it over on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and add. So there's a container, there's audio, there's a camera, there's grab points, there's lighting, there's scripts, there's sit points, there's spawn points, and there's volume. Okay. So let's talk about adding a sit point on this. Okay. So let's go ahead and click sit point. And then now it's opening up the object structure. Okay, so right here is what I just added into this ball, and you can see, let me go ahead and get closer to it. You can see that there's these two people right here. So this is where I would click on, let me get closer to it. Let me slow it down because the camera's really fast here. There we go. Okay. So what I would do to adjust this is I would left click on one of the people here, and then let me click on the person. There we go. So I'd make them sit like this. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm saying this because Sansar just came up with dynamic sit points. Okay. Meaning that any object that has a that's on dynamic, if you put a sit point on it, you're basically going to sit on that point and you're going to be able to be thrown around. Okay. So let's go ahead and save and build this. We can just go to build so I can show you that. That's how you would basically add any type of functionality. Now, this is the cool thing. You know, Sansar's done a lot of work, back in work, to put a lot of functionality in, so you don't have to sit there and design these, oh, design these scripts from scratch. Okay, so let's go ahead and visit now. Oh, wow. I guess it's not, this ball's not dynamic. So let's go back into edit mode and let's make sure the ball's dynamic. So maybe what happens when we put a sit point on it. Okay, so let's click on it. Let's right click on it. Let's go into properties. It's static. Okay, so let's make the ball dynamic. I'm going to go ahead and save it. So if there's like another person or another avatar in the world and they picked up the ball and threw it and I was sitting on it, I would basically be thrown with the ball. Okay, so think of all the things that you could put a dynamic sit point on, like an airplane, like a helicopter, okay? Things that are going to be moving with a script. That's where you'd want that would have a seat or something in there, right? Okay, so let's go back over there. Sit on. Okay, so we're going to move the ball. So as it's moving, see this? Let's move it again. Let me go ahead and sit on it. See how it's rolling me around? um, yeah, so this is a really cool feature that Sansar just came out with. It allows you to basically, you know, build driving cars, build ride a horse, you know, anything that has a movement on, you can put a sit point to. Now you can basically, you know, move with that object. So it's a really important script that's has come out, especially with people that are building any type of games. You're going to need that, okay? All right, so let's go back into edit mode here. Go ahead and click that. And I just want to let you folks know that you don't always have to keep going through build worlds. Once you're in the world that you want to edit, you can just say edit this scene right here. See that right there? So let me go ahead and edit the scene. All right, so we showed you how to basically add a sit point to a dynamic object. I would say that right there is a very powerful tool when creating functionality inside the world. Let's do something else here. Let's think with the showing you how to add the sit points is most important. That you will use a lot because, you know, say you're doing a campfire and you want people to sit on logs. Well, you're going to have to add the sit points to those logs. Yeah. So I hope you found value in this, and we'll see you on the next tutorial. DNA Elites Tutorials.